Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I feel like this week has been a massive week of overthinking and I haven't done a sit down video where I just talk through my thoughts and everything bookish and writing related in a long time, since maybe I returned back to YouTube after taking a break from making long form videos. So in keeping with that theme, this week I've massively been overthinking my goals, my aspirations, and just how I'm generally spending my time as somebody that lives in London, works a corporate job, is an aspiring writer, and also loves creating bookish content. So where my massive rethinking, overthinking is coming from is I feel really stretched in everything that I'm doing. And I think sometimes when you stretch yourself so much, you don't necessarily make organic or authentic choices. So as an example is with TikTok, I like to post 3 videos a week on TikTok, same with Instagram. And I was sort of not necessarily engaging in book talk and just sort of creating content that would be quick. Some of it though, I have loved making and I've spent a lot of time doing that. And then other times I would just do it to hit my 3 times a week target, because I get scared that the algorithm will hate me if I don't post every single time on time. And I think that's exactly the same with YouTube, because when I took my break, when I came back, it didn't like me and it hasn't liked me since. But I know that there's so many other things that go in that. It's not necessarily that the algorithm hates you. It's not that the content you're putting out is good or bad, or I might have rushed content, I might have not thought through titles and things. There's so many reasons why social media either works or it doesn't. With that, I think it can be a bit of a confidence knock when you're putting so much time and effort into it. But also on the same extent of that, the other things that are sort of pulling me in multiple different directions are my corporate career is really taking off. I've had to work some late nights, but I've been recognized at work as somebody that works hard, and I've been promoted in the past year. So yeah, and then I'm coming to editing my novel, and as I'm editing it, I have this daunting realization that once I've edited this book, I want to write another one. And so I'm looking at my days and my schedule, and not only am I oh my goodness, I'm trying to keep up so much with creating bookish content and reading so many books. My Goodreads goal is 100 every year. I'm not only reading, I'm creating content because I'm talking about the books that I'm reading. I'm also trying to write finish my 3rd novel. I am also then thinking about another book I want to write. And then I'm trying to climb the corporate ladder. And then I'm also living in London. And when you live in London, there are so many pressures on the weekend to not just sit and do nothing, but you feel like you have to do stuff. And I love making YouTube videos about my weekends in London. But then I'm also, I guess, sometimes my social life might suffer as well. I mean, I'm not that sociable anyway. I've got all these different things pulling me in loads of different directions. And I've just basically been do I need to rethink and reassess what my goals are and where my priorities sit? I don't know. I can't figure out, I guess, what's next for me in 2025. And I haven't actually I've seen so many people do videos where they're talking about their 2025 bookish goals. So I didn't ever do a video like that. So I'm thinking this is kind of my mini reassessing my 2025 goals and figuring them out. And this video, hopefully by the end of it, we will figure out what my goals are for 2025 and tweak them a little bit to take into account the fact that I feel like I'm being pushed in every direction. When I'm looking at my 2025 goals, what I set them at in January, 1st of January, was more to do with what do I want my life to look like? And then you kind of work back from there. So for me, what I did was I went, what is the life I want? The life I want is a full-time writer. I want to do social media on the side because I think it's smart to diversify income, but also diversify what you're doing day to day, because when you're writing a book, you're not talking to anyone. I think social media gives you that element of contact or sociableness to say, even though it's behind a screen and I'm talking to someone. Right now I'm talking on a camera, whereas if I was just sat writing, I could write for weeks and weeks on end, not speak to anyone, not leave the house, only leave the house to walk my dog, and that wouldn't be healthy. With that being sort of my ultimate goal would be to write and be able to do social media on the side of that. Whoops. My goals this year were to finish the 3rd book. I've written 3 books. So the first 2 are self-published because they're a charity initiative book. So all of the royalties go to charity with those 2 books. So this is my 3rd book. This 3rd book is the one that I want to get traditionally published. So I wanted to this year finish editing it. I'm in the editing process now. I also want to query agents and hopefully get a publishing deal within this year. The next goal, obviously with being social media, was that the mini goals that sit under that is, okay, I want to post a long form video on YouTube every week. I want to post shorter form content on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube 3 times a week. And I sort of recycle that content and make it the same so it's easier to manage with a full-time job. And then I just kind of wanted to get by in London financially. I've just got promoted, so for me, obviously being engaged and doing well in my corporate job was important, but the writing vision has always been my biggest priority, I would say. So those were kind of my goals. And then also, if I think about the bookish goals I had a Goodreads goal to read 100 books a year, because obviously the content I create is to do with books, and so I read books to be able to talk about them. And I also love reading. So when I was looking at that, and I'm feeling really, really stretched because my corporate side has taken off more than I would have expected, and I have more promising prospects for another promotion and things like that. Because that's happened, it's made me go, oh, can I fit all of this in? And I've even been looking at a corporate course that I wanted to take, like an educational one, and I was just looking at it and I was like, I can't fit all of this in, what do I do? And so I think I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I don't necessarily know what that looks like. But the one biggest thing, so if I think about the adjustments that I think I can make, I think I need to reduce my reading goal. Even if I hit it, just having a lower goal, I think takes away a lot less stress of having to read and keep up with a number, because that, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, it's really silly that I put this pressure on myself to read as many books as I do, because I used to love just reading a book a month, like on the tube, like that's all I need to do. I do listen to audiobooks, but as work's got more intense, that's been more impossible because I'm not necessarily doing like the grunt work now. I'm doing like the critical thinking and everything that you need no music or no audiobooks to do. So that's like the first thing I've been able to tick off, I think, is not having such a high reading goal, take that pressure off. And then I spoke to my friend, and my friend really opened my eyes, and she was like, what do you want from life? And I went back to the whole like writing and content creation, and she was like, what do you want more? Do you want to be a writer or do you want to be a content creator? And I was like, easy, I want to be a writer. And she was, okay, well, it doesn't mean you have to give up content creation. It doesn't mean that now I'm never going to post a YouTube video again. It maybe means that I either don't post as much or I change the type of content that I'm going to create. And this is where the biggest element has come from, and she really opened my eyes, because all of my content is reading created. I do a few long form videos of me writing. Like a couple of weeks ago I posted the editing as much of my book as I can, but outside of that it's all books that I consume and I read, and I'm not building myself up as a brand, as a aspiring writer. So I think what I want to do in the first instance is try and pivot a lot of my content to being about my writing journey and my writing career, and hopefully people like that and it feels really organic, and it also motivates me to write more, because then I really want to do, I love creating YouTube videos of like weekends in London. And so if I do them where I'm like a weekend in London plus my writing, and I show what I do, because I work full-time Monday to Friday, all my content creation and all of my writing gets done either early morning before work or it gets done on the weekend. And so I can show more of that, and it will probably give me the kick to do more, because I think the content creation was what gave me a kick to read as much as I do. So flip it and do it with writing. I think that would be really healthy. And then I also think that if I'm still struggling with as many videos as I post every week and long form every week, I can just go to every other. That's what Tom suggested I do with my long form videos. But the thing is I love making them and I find it really relaxing, and I completely switch off when I'm editing a YouTube video. I can't explain it. And I just love having a documentation of my journey. And I always wanted, when I started my YouTube channel, for it to be a documentation of my writing journey, so I could see myself going from like sitting in this corner of my apartment and writing on the weekend as much as I can, to literally, hopefully, having a published novel in my hand. Like that would mean so much to me. And that's what I wanted this for. So I think I need to strip back the goals with YouTube and not get so sucked into like the book talk and the book influencer side of things, and actually just go, this is my writing journey, and use it as a way of documenting that, which is exciting. And so I feel a lot more positive about it now, but I do still question whether I can do everything, because my corporate career is really taking off, and I do dedicate evenings to work as well. And I think I need to get good at work-life balance, but I do need to take the opportunities that do crop up with work, because that's my main source of income. It's a good income. I'm happy on it. Like it allows me to do the things that I want to do on the weekends, or like go on holiday with Tom and things like that. So I'm just very mindful of all of that. So I think that was a long-winded way of saying my new goals for 2025 going into this would be to read less, write more, do a reading goal of something a lot smaller, maybe reduce it by 25%, dedicate more time to writing versus content creation, and organically document my writing journey so that I have something to look back on and to reflect on my growth. So hopefully from this point on, you will see a flip in what I post on YouTube. I have made some videos already of like shorter form videos that are all scheduled and things like that with like book related content. So if you still see that, that's why. It's because I spent so long creating this content, so I'm going to put it out there and then I'm going to naturally pivot to the writing side of things. I'm hoping that I can do a lot more vlogs of like going to different cafes in London and writing, because I got a bit scared to film. I think it will be really good for my confidence if I go out and I do videos of me writing in cafes. I think I need to be more confident about discussing what my book is about and feel more confident in discussing sort of my writing, maybe even sharing bits and talking about the past novels that I did, because I just don't talk about it enough because I get imposter syndrome and I kind of get a bit scared of putting myself out there with my writing. And I think that's massively why I've hidden behind creating content about other people's books versus mine. So hopefully this gives me a huge boost of confidence and I realign myself to the huge goals that I have in life, which is to ultimately be a traditionally published author. So I hope this is a good thing. I hope that maybe when I create this kind of content, I find more of my writing people as well. Sometimes that used to scare me because I'd get scared of like comparison, but I think I've got to embrace that. And I'd love to find my writing community and to find people that can encourage me and help me and just educate me, like we can learn from each other. I think that would be really great. I also would love to find like other aspiring writers, YouTube channels and things like that. So if anyone has any suggestions, please let me know, because I think I should engage more and not be so scared to enter that world and put myself out there as an aspiring writer. And then the other amazing thing is that London offers so many events, and one of the biggest things that are offered is book events. So like Waterstones Piccadilly often do a lot of author events where the author's just published a book and they go on a book tour. And those that I've been to typically do actually have a lot of aspiring writers there. And so a lot of the questions that go to authors are tailored for that audience. And I learned so much when I go to them. So I think I should show those kind of events more and not just do like book shopping. But obviously I think every now and then I'll probably sprinkle like a book shopping video in, or like what I'm reading at the moment, and or like what books have helped me, inspired me as an aspiring writer. So that's what I'm thinking. And I'm hoping this is a positive step. And maybe if it gets too much, I think ultimately I'll probably move to like long form videos every other week, like Tom suggested. But for now, I'm going to keep it the same, but I'm just going to flip the content, make it more writing, less book related, consume less books, and just listen to myself and listen to my corporate career as well. Like if I am enjoying it and I want to go that way, I should embrace it, but I never want to lose the fact that I am an aspiring writer, and one day my book will be published and I will be able to buy it in a Waterstones. That's the biggest thing I'm clinging on to. So thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you in the next video, which will include a lot of writing in it.